In the name of the God of the entire universe, whose mercy is profound, whose kindness is everlasting. This is the 14th episode in a series of presentations wherein we are exploring this question as to whether it was Isaac or Ismail who was offered for sacrifice by Abraham. We have reached a point wherein the author, Mr. Abdus Sattar Ghauri, is making a very strong claim that the famous King David of the Bible, who is accepted by the Muslims as the messenger of God, he visited Mecca and offered his pilgrimage in the Holy Kaaba. However, the question really needs to be strengthened and explored still further as to whether the mention of Baka, B-A-C-A or B-A-K-A in the Psalms chapter 84 verse 6 is actually the Mecca or Bakka that we know of. So in order to prove his point, the author mentions in the chapter the actual site of Baka or Bakka. He says it is unanimously accepted that the original word in the Hebrew Bible is Baka, B-A-C-A. The context clearly indicates that it has been used as a proper noun, and most of the versions and translations of the Bible have retained this status. Some of the translations and versions have misconceived its status and have taken it to be a common word. Then they tried to translate it whimsically as weeping, tears, balsam tree, mulberry, some of the other trees, dry valley, etc. It does not seem to be a proper approach and is based on some misunderstanding. The author goes on to say that before the introduction of the vocalization system in Hebrew writing, the words Baka and Bakka, B-A-C-C-A, or the words Baka and Bakka, B-A-K-A-H or B-A-K-A-H, were to be written in the same way. King David had actually and naturally used the word Bakka in his psalm because the words Baka and Bakka were written in the Hebrew script in the same way. It got the pronunciation of Baka or Baka instead of the correct pronunciation of Bakka in the later Jewish ages. This Bakka was the ancient name of Mecca and was given to it by Abraham. And thereafter, the author continues to mention his outcome of research to show that the same city of Mecca was the Bakka that was mentioned in the Bible. He mentions that Akhbar-e-Makkah, which is a book, is a detailed history of Mecca in 6 volumes in the Arabic language. Here are some excerpts from its section on the names of Mecca. It says, one of the residents of Mecca gave me a book written by some of his forefathers. In it were stated the names of Mecca, which the residents of Mecca claimed to be Mecca, Bakka, Barra, Basasa, Qura, Al-Haram, Al-Masjid Al-Haram, and Al-Balad Al-Amin. Some people say that Salahi is also among its names. Some of the Meccans claim that Kutha is also one of its names. It is written beneath Al-Maqam, I am Allah, Lord of Bakka. I sanctified it on the day when the heavens and the earth were brought into existence. The Quran has used both Mecca and Bakka for the name of the place. When it is mentioned as a place of the ancient times, it has been named as Bakka, as it has been used in Surah Al-Imran, the 3rd surah of the Quran. It says, Inna awwala baytin wudiya lin-nas lallazi bi Bakkata mubarakam wa hudal lil alamin. The first house ever to be built as sanctuary for men was that at Bakka, a blessed place, a beacon for the nations. It has also been mentioned in the Quran elsewhere, وَهُوَ الَّذِي كَفَّ أَيْدِيَهُمْ عَنْكُمْ وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ عَنْهُمْ بِبَطْنِ مَكَّةِ. It was He who restrained their hands from you and your hands from them in the valley of Mecca. The source of the sounds, that is the vocal organ of the alphabetical letters B and M is one and the same, that is the lips. So, by the passage of time, Mecca replaced Becca. It can thus be appreciated that the original and ancient name of the place was Becca. King David used this ancient name as it was in vogue during his days. It was only in the later centuries that it was replaced by Mecca. And then the author goes on to mention, and it can thus be appreciated that as far back as the annals of history and tradition can be traced, there has been perpetually commemorated act of Abraham's offering his genuinely only son Ismail for sacrifice at the mountainous area in the land of Moriah, a mountain situated in Mecca. But there is not even a single place or a ritual or a festivity or a trace or a building amongst the Jewish people or the Christians to commemorate the event of the offering of Abraham, his only son, for sacrifice. It is now up to the reader to decide and derive an objective conclusion. So, what the author has laid bare is the fact that there are a number of strong reasons for an objective reader to believe that it was the valley of Mecca where is located a hill called Al-Marwa, where the only son of Abraham, Ishmael, was offered for sacrifice, and that whatever Bible has mentioned, it gives a clear indication that that is what the truth is, although in some instances some changes and alterations have found their place in the text of the Bible, but to a discerning reader, to a discerning mind, those alterations can be easily identified, and that is exactly what the author has helped the readers to understand, that those alterations can be checked and can be picked for one to know what the truth is. May God enable us all to know what the correct understanding about this important aspect of the history of the children of Abraham is. May He open the heart for truth for everybody, and may He enable us to overcome all the difficulties and all the impediments that are in the way of the proper understanding of the truth.